Hey, what's up? Silas here. Good morning. Well, it's a morning here. It is a good morning. People say good morning. It's not always a good morning, but I hope you have a good morning. Mine is starting pretty well. I have this quick thing about politics in the United States of America. This is a question for people on both on the left and the right about military service. So some time back, somebody was talking about something online. We were having a conversation and went to the back and forth, and I said something about, he said he was in the service industry or something. We were talking about work somehow. And I asked him, okay, what service industry were you in? Were you in public service or private service industry? We were talking about something, I think, about how people are paid in the private industry. And I said, okay, thank you for your service, because I was thinking about how it is when you're working in the service industry and you have to deal with people. And sometimes people really, really annoying. Sometimes I'll personally go somewhere to like a grocery store or somewhere where I'm working with somebody who's serving me directly, customer service type thing, and I'll be very annoyed from something else they have nothing to do with, and then there's a temptation to take it out on them, and these people are just doing their jobs in some situations. So I said, thank you for your service. And I pointed out that yes, normally people say thank you for your service when they're talking about the military, even though in the military, you're normally not dealing that much with regular civilians, especially your civilians. You're normally dealing with people, in many cases, you're dealing with only people in the military. Most of the military in the United States of America, the way it is right now, even if you go on deployment, I was listening to this thing by Eric Prince, who's this guy of Blackwater, who's the founder of Blackwater, which is a private security firm. And he was talking about how when you go to somewhere like Afghanistan, it's something like 2 to 9 on head to tail. Head is actual combatants, the people who are out there with the guns, the main soldiers, the main combat soldiers, logistics type people. No, I think the main combat soldiers. And then it's about 9 people who are logistics, people that cook back at the place, the administration people, the people washing the clothes, that kind of thing. So it's kind of imbalanced that way. So those people are providing a service, but they're providing it mostly directly to other military members. The people who are dealing with actually other people as their job does, how, like, let's say you're working at McDonald's and you're the cashier, most of your work is working with the people coming up there. You're not working that much with the people in the back who are cooking the stuff. So that kind of servicing, that's the head. And in those situations, if somebody is bugging you, somebody is messing up what you're supposed to be doing as your job, question your job, you can shoot those people in many cases. So that's even different in that service industry. So I was kind of just joking with the guy that, oh, yeah, they say that. Even though in that kind of service, you have more ways of letting out your steam. Not that I'm saying that's what soldiers do in the regular, but that's the kind of thing I was thinking about at that point in time. Now, coming back to the servicing, military service. What is military participation? You see some situations where people say, look, this person participated in the military, that puts him above reproach. I recently saw this photo of Robert Mueller, who's the head special investigator on the current Russia collusion, which is now going to obstruction of justice, which is involving a lot of FBI people who are very partisan. And even though when it comes to Trump, Trump says, oh, about Putin, it's like, oh, he's an okay guy. Maybe we should get along. People are like, oh my God, it's a sign of collusion. These guys, these FBI people caught and say, he's an utter idiot. We need a backup plan if he wins. Like, he's an imbecile. These type of things. And people are like, no, that person is completely just. He's. People are allowed to have political standings. This has nothing to do with it. He's completely neutral. And this is that whole thing. Different things happen for the same reason. Same kind of thing happens. Somebody says something about somebody, then different reactions. This is the same thing with military. They say Robert Mueller was in the military. This photo, Robert Mueller in the military, Donald Trump holding a bowling trophy, and then they say, "Look, this shows what? What does that show? So what? Now, military participation is supposed to show something about someone's morality. Well, recently, Roy Moore, who a lot of people who were talking about how horrible Roy Moore is, and he might be a horrible human being, some of the allegations coming out, he was also in Vietnam. So if Robert Mueller was in Vietnam, Roy Moore was in Vietnam, does that mean Robert Mueller is also more likely to have tried to make advances at 14-year-old girls? Are we expecting that to come out? No. It doesn't really have much to say about the morality of the person. You talk to somebody, somebody says this might be love of country, this might be how much they want to represent the country. But if you say that, does that mean that Republicans, because they get more military votes, does that mean Republicans love America more than people on the left? So people on the right, do they love America more because they have higher military percentage population voting for them than people on the left? So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I personally think that, yes, people on the right politically love more what America was and is at the present, conservatives, those type of people, and people on the left love more what they think America can and should be. Those are the people who are like, no, we should change these things, progressives type things. That might have a tangential, might be somewhere correlated to the military participation, but I don't quite think it is, because a lot of the wars that America has been involved in have not necessarily been to strengthen America at the time, nor to actually stick on any point of morality or things like that. I'm going to do a separate video on these genocides thing, because somebody was talking about what are you supposed to do. I'll probably leave a link actually below to this video, because it was a great video by Right Angle with Bill Whittle, Steve Green and Scott Ott. They were talking about what do you do, what should America do when there's a genocide, and one of them said, yes, I think seeing a genocide and taking part and going in to stop it is part of what America is. Actually, wait, was that? No, I think that was actually an uncommon knowledge video. There's a few things, there's an entire genocide video. I'll come together and put all these things in there. Sorry about saying I'm going to do that here. But yeah, so that's it for now. Like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys have a good morning or good whenever you're listening to this. And links below to the merchandise store. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next video, let me know what you guys think about spreading that service industry thing to more services. Also, another joke I said, if the guy was in the public sector, like for his service, I would have taken away whatever percentage of the taxes were in that area, the average percentage, because that's the thanks you take away. Hey, what's up? Just an addition to that video, I checked, and there's this Quora link I'm going to leave below, Quora.com, asking, does the military in the United States of America actually vote more to the Republican? And with that, it turns out that the officers, the guys who are on top, normally skew Republican, and then that kind of gets the whole military-industrial complex going Republican, whereas the enlisted people, so this is the people just signing up, they normally skew more liberal. Now that could have something to do also with the ages of these people, like that quote attributed to Winston Churchill says, if you're not a liberal when you're young, you have no heart. If you're not a conservative when you get older, you have no brain. So what do you have in your experience of enlisted or of military people? Are you in the military? What do you skew in that way? And then there's also certain countries where, like Israel, I think everyone needs to have at least 2 years of service. So when you get into that situation, how is the military going to skew one way or another? And one thing, with Starship Troopers, really good book. I don't mind the films, but I suggest you read the book or the audiobook if you get the chance. They had a thing where they said, for you to vote, you have to be a citizen, and for you to be a citizen, you have to join the military and serve. And there's something in that. I do think, I personally, I'm not against having some higher requirements for voting, for participating in the voting in a nation. As long as we still have states as they are, I think there should be some prerequisites. And even when we take away states and get to the situation where I think we have a freer society, there is going to be requirements to vote, to participate in things. And if that sounds so crazy and so horrible for you, do understand there are already certain requirements, certain ages, certain limits. You're not voting for the president in China, not because you can, or even if you're in China, certain countries don't have them. Certain countries have different organization things. Even in your personal life, not everybody has a vote on everything that happens in your life. So this whole idea that you just have universal voting and that's a positive thing, if it really was a positive thing, you would accept it in more aspects of your life, yet you don't. So
That's just being paid.
Oh, and anyway, so that's it for now. Like, share, and subscribe. Links to the low bar to merchandise. Goodbye.